And it begins. So our adversary in this map, our main adversary, is Karna. Now, just to give you a little bit of background here, Karna is a returning character, a returning servant from Fate Extella. He is also, in Hindu lore, the son of the sun god Surya. And there's a lot of a very elaborate story about him, which I wish I had time to tell you right now. But he is known as the hero of charity because he gives anything to anyone who asks, even his enemies, when they're blatantly asking for like his weapons before they fight him, and he will say yes. And he still usually manages to win. Usually do. Alright, so we got some tutorial pop-ups here. Cindy9 asks, is there any chance of a CCC localization, or is it out of your hands? I personally would love to work on a CCC localization. Unfortunately, right now, it is more or less out of our hands. So, if there is any development on that front, you guys will be the first to know. So, as with Fate Extella, this is a sort of a battlefield action game where you and your army battle sector by sector against the opposing army, always represented in red. The way you take each sector is by defeating these enemy officers called aggressors, which you can spot by the arrows on the map if you'd like to see. Oh, I see now the aggressors are attacking our little crown icon there, our master, so we need to save him. There is one aggressor in this map. If I get rid of him, all his minions will fold. Okay, this is called a Shadow Servant. This is a new feature for Link. Shadow Servants are essentially inferior copies of other servants, and they serve as sort of petty officers that you fight against. I'm using what they call active skills here. Oh. And what you saw just there, you can also choose a support team. This is a new feature for Link. You can choose up to 2 other servants with varying benefits. They'll like jump in and take hits for you. They'll jump in and assist with your combos, that sort of thing.
I see somebody mention the Fate Go event, so the Fate Grand Order US Tour. There's going to be one in Los Angeles, and we're going to be there. So this Sunday, if you come through to the Fate Grand Order US Tour, get your tickets. We'll be there Sunday with Fate Extella Link, and you can play it. So yeah, definitely stop by our booth if you're going to be there.
Yes, an answer to, you got a few questions here, so I'll do my best to answer all of them. Rudy Roo asks, Master participates in the field. Yes, the Master is there not just as a sort of flag for the enemy to try and capture, but also to provide you with extra mana. If you're in his or her sector, the Master will provide you with mana which will fill up your skills cooldowns faster. Let's see, next question was, what's been improved compared to the original Extella? Well, several things. Visually, it's much stronger, much smoother. Also, there's been, in terms of gameplay, there's a lot of quality of life improvements. For example, you can now lock on to aggressors, plants. That was one thing in the last game, was always chasing the enemy plants out of the sky, trying to dart around and find them. Now you can just lock on. A lot of other objectives have been added, so you get much more dynamic sort of battles. No two really the same. There's been a lot of new scenarios, including several bonus scenarios. So, and of course, the game does include an entirely new story and 10 more characters.
Yeah.
Oh, and the PS4 version and Switch version, and I believe the PC version as well, right? Have multiplayer.
Yes, all of the versions have multiplayer except for PlayStation Vita.
Okay, so here is one of the dynamic objectives that can pop up during a match. So that pirate you just saw there is a female incarnation of Sir Francis Drake, who is now firing cannons at the Master from across the map there. And so what we need to do is get all the way across the map, past this obstacle here, and I'm going to leave a few enemies alone for now because Drake takes priority. Can you customize your Master? You can change your Master's name and gender.
Are there 3 general main stories again?
There are multiple routes through the same basic story, which do go different ways, and then there's a bit beyond that. It's structured a bit differently than Extella in that regard, but you'll see that as the game progresses.
How does multiplayer work? It is a 4v4 multiplayer. It's kind of like, if I could put it in layman terms as much as possible, it's kind of a capture the point.
Pretty much. Oh, and here's Drake.
Does it have the story from the first Extella? Do you think that fans who haven't played the first Extella and maybe don't want to, even though they should,
We do encourage people to check out Extella for various reasons, but does it straight up recap the first story of Extella? It hits the high notes. It'll tell you what you need to know when you start the game, if this is your first game in the series. Face off. There we go.
Princess Drake.
Okay, I'm going to use the other features here. So I've been using just my regular attacks and active skills up to this point. Now that I have that blue meter at the bottom filled up, the last game had those the Extella meter where you could just do a bunch of repeating attacks against everyone in the sector. In this game, when your drive gauge, that blue gauge there, fills up, you can press circle to power up for a while. Once you're tired of being that powerful, or, just before your drive gauge runs out, you can press the circle button to unleash an attack like that one, different for each character.
So cool.
And those golden sparks you see that fly in while you're in that powered up mode and you kill enemies, those sparks will power up your Noble Phantasm.
Are we gonna get the Noble?
We are certainly going to get the Noble. I'm saving it, but we're going to see it.
There is no co-op mode, but multiplayer is 4v4, so you could play with 4 of your friends in that. No co-op.
Zero, there are towers in multiplayer, but the goal is not. They are a big point of it, but there's points that you're supposed to do. Towers do help.
Yeah,
Yes.
the towers will provide enhancements to different classes, depending on which type of towers they are and which team controls them. Start taking this guy a little more seriously. Now I have those 4 little icons you see on the left. Oh, wait.
Ooh.
This is another thing I like about this game. Your allies are actually helpful. In this situation here, Tamamo is using her Noble Phantasm to power up the rest of your team's servants with extra mana, which is going to make us recharge a whole lot faster. So now, I can just straight up unload on this guy.
Woo.
Yep, and there's an explanation of what her Noble Phantasm does for the field.
Iron says, fluffy waifu! Best wife.
Fluffy waifu for fluffy waifu. Alright, let's see. Okay, so a couple places we can go from here. There's still some enemy officers on the battlefield. There is Lancelot, who is one of the new servants for this game. Now, Lancelot is a berserker class, so he, like most berserkers, he can't talk, can't think straight, and can only scream in incoherent rage. Also, instead of a sword, he's packing 2 machine guns, FYI. His whole power is basically he can turn anything into a weapon. Anything he considers a weapon, so you won't see it here, but he can call in full-on airstrikes on you.
Public Turner, each servant has different abilities. So it's totally different abilities, different playstyle, pretty much, for each servant.
And you'll see more of that as we play with the different servants.
That's right. So we're going to be playing 3 on this stream, so you can see 3 different playstyles.
Oh, Drake is back. She just popped up again in the top right.
Get out of here, Drake.
So this time I will kick her off the map. I'm using the dash maneuver repeatedly as I go.
Yeah, there's something you can just pick up as you play test it.
Yep.
Love that dash.
And there's Drake again. So this time,
Oh, you got the Noble.
let's do the Noble. Here comes the Noble.
Here we go. Oh, Public Turner says, I meant with the field assist abilities, does each servant have a different power-up?
Well, some do. It varies depending on what map you're playing and what the circumstances are.
Ooh.
And there's the Noble. So, let's see.
That's like one of my favorite parts is watching each servant's Noble.
Okay, Tamamo's in trouble, so I need to go help her now.
Please go help her.
Of course.
Please. She's too cute and fluffy to get beat up.
Now, another way to charge up your noble meter is to find those golden circle and star marks that are marked on the map, and those will power up your meter at least part way, if not the whole way. Well, here comes Medusa, a recurring character from the last game.